Charlotte, this is justice served.
At WrestleMania, I will not stop until I end you.
Because you need this generation more than it needs you.
Everybody wants to be the champion until the real champion walks in the room.
I'm gonna beat you at WrestleMania and take your championship.
Nobody is getting this title off a big time bet.
What if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one of your plays? You're the pretender. What if I say I will never surrender? What if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one of your plays? You're the pretender. What if I say that I'll never surrender? What if I say I'm not like the others? What if I say I'm not just another one of your plays? You're the pretender. What if I say I will never surrender? So who are you? Yeah, who are you? Yeah, who are you?
And now, WWE presents the Global Entertainment Spectacular,
We're gonna stand up.
WrestleMania.
Gonna raise our cup to the stabilize for the glory. For the glory. We're celebrating with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer. It's the ultimate high for the glory. We do it for the glory.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Welcome to episode number 235 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. We're here for Saturday, week 4 of March 2022. And you can see what that means. We're here for night 1 of WrestleMania 38. You've seen the match card video, you've seen, you know what matches are happening tonight. The main event, Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. Let's have a look at last year's night 1, which had Bianca and Sasha in the main event, 77. Hoping to do a little bit better than that this year. Carrying a bit. Daniel Bryan, Apollo Crews and Sami Zayn versus the Bivens family. Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins. Murphy, of course, injured this year, so that's why he's not on the show. That sucks for him, but he injured. We've come a long way from this. This feels like more than a year ago in game, which is good because, like, one of my main gripes in real life is, like, it doesn't feel like it's been a year since the last WrestleMania because, like, nothing has changed in the real world, that is. But, like, there's been a lot of changes in the last year in my world, which means that this is going to be one hell of a show. We've got legendary band, A-list celebrity, 2 million set. Obviously, the A-list celebrity is The Rock, but he's on night 2. But we've got Bad Bunny making a cameo tonight, so it's fine. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. And here we go, the first match, kickoff showtime. The one and only. What a way to kick off action here. The biggest show of the year, then with one of the most exciting men on the roster. He's got to score to settle his former tag team partner, Bronson Reed, of course, turning on him. Must have been 6 weeks ago now. Former Raw tag team champions together. It all comes to a head here at the WrestleMania kickoff show, the first bit of action of the night. Bronson Reed versus Ricochet. Of course, it's a tough ask for somebody like Ricochet, you know. You got to use his speed advantage to try and come out on top of the colossal Bronson Reed here. New member of the Hurt Business. New focused attitude for the big Aussie. And here he comes.
And his opponent
132 pounds, Sean Reed.
It's been an interesting year for Bronson Reed on Raw, since last year WrestleMania only came out close to winning the Honor the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and then him and Ricochet found each other as tag team partners. They defeated the Undisputed Era to become the champions. And then cooler head didn't prevail. They won War Games together with Keith Lee and Edge against the Undisputed Era. But now it's all falling apart because Bronson Reed says Ricochet's holding him back. You got a chance to prove whether or not that's the case in this opening match here at WrestleMania. Well, this is a good start. We get an 87 rated match on the kickoff show. It is the tensions boiling over between the former best friends, former Raw Tag Team Championship partners, Bronson Reed and Ricochet. They were the Raw Tag Team Champions. Obviously, the Cyclone was their name, and they failed an attempt to beat the Alpha Academy. I think week 3 of February. That Raw. Bronson Reed turned heel. He's now part of the Hurt Business. But there ain't going to be no Hurt Business accompanying Lashley later on tonight because Volta is so against that. So it's Bronson Reed and Ricochet settling their differences on the pre-show here. And it goes 13 minutes and 25 seconds. Bronson Reed toying with poor Trev. He gets a little couple of hope spots in. But in the end, he plants him with the bit of a big slam. He goes up top for the big tsunami. But Ricochet rolls out of the way and then quickly locks in a quick cradle for the 1-2-3 to steal the upset victory here on the kickoff show of WrestleMania. 87 for Bronson Reed, 93 for Ricochet, and the first victory of WrestleMania 38 goes to the one and only. Kathy Cole, Things America the Beautiful Part 2. She's back by popular demand from last year, mainly because I couldn't think of an actual funny celebrity to put in here. So it's just Kathy Cole. She's our resident singer, and yeah, America the Beautiful sung. And we're not going to jump straight into a match because we've got the host, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's coming out here, and he's like, "What, ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania, AT&T Stadium, Dallas, Texas. Give me a hell yeah, hell yeah." It's like, so 2 nights, most stupendous WrestleMania of all time. What? Stone Cold. Oh, Stone Cold. He's here in Dallas. He's gonna whoop some candy asses. What? And maybe if you're feeling lucky, we'll get a big Stone Cold Stunner, one for the road. What? And then Happy Corbin comes out, and he's like, "Oh, look, Steve, come on. It's me, you remember me from the Royal Rumble? You're taking my spot again, Steve. I should be the host of WrestleMania." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, You heard me, Steve. Me and knee-jerk Nese. In fact, we've got one hell of a joke for you. Tell him, Nese." And he's like, what do you call Stone Cold Steve Austin if he raids Matt Riddle's locker room? Stoned Cold. And Corbin, of course, laughs, and Austin gives him a straight face, like, "What? That wasn't fucking funny?" And it's like, "Do you not get it? Stoned Cold." Okay, Stone Cold, what? I get it. How about you get this? Bang! Kicks Nese in the gut. Stunner. Nese gets the stunner. He looks at Corbin. He's like, "Now get his sorry ass out of this ring. This will be you if you don't get out of my your sorry ass out of my ring. Let me get some beers and let me get this show on the road. Can I get a hell yeah? That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so." Corbin's got to carry the stunned Tony Nese out of the ring as Austin, down to Steve Wise's, and drives up his ATV back up to the backstage to let the show go underway. This is where we'd have the opening video package. I mean, I've already played it in the episode, but this will be where it will be, because like a cold open of America the Beautiful like normal, but then Stone Cold comes straight out and then gives us time to clear up the mat after he inevitably gets it wet with all of his beer. And then we go to our first entrance of the evening. What a way to kick off the night. than with Seth freaking Rollins. He's here to seek out justice of his own.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Davenport, Iowa, weighing in at 217 pounds, Seth Rollins!
Well, much like the Cape Crusader himself, Rollins looking for justice here against the man who took him out for a few weeks, Jacob Fatu, the muscle of the bloodline, the muscle of the tribal chief, the WWE Champion Roman Reigns, not been pinned or submitted since he made his debut about 18 months ago here. Rollins looks to make history, not be the first person to pin the Samoan Werewolf shoulders down to the mat. But he's not going in as 100%. You've got to question if he is fully fit, ready for this match after he got thrown through a car window, through a wall, at the hands of the monster Jacob Fatu. But he sure looks ready to fight justice. Now we wait for the arrival of the Samoan Werewolf, the tribal chief's muscle. Of course, joining up with his cousins, the Usos and Roman Reigns, Fatu has found his feet here on SmackDown. Again, not being pinned. This is the first time he steps into a singles match at WrestleMania. And he's doing it against a former WrestleMania main eventer, the man who made history back at WrestleMania 31. Let's see if Fatu can keep that streak going, keep that streak alive here tonight. He sure looks confident, as does Seth Rollins, though. This should be a fight here to kick off WrestleMania Night 1. We start off with a 90 rated match. Seth Rollins, burn it down. Dressed like the Dark Knight himself, the Caped Crusader. In the name of justice, he's coming in the name of justice to hopefully hand the first pinfall loss to Jacob Fatu, the muscle of the bloodline. They have a 90 rated match. Don't know if I've already said that. And they go 14 minutes one. Seth goes into it injured, obviously, from when he got thrown through he got thrown through a wall and through a car window. So he's all kinds of fucked up right now. And that's obviously going to lead Fatu beating him up for the first early part of the match. And he has Samoan drops, but Seth kicks out. Until finally Seth fires up. He hits his comeback, sling blade, diving knee, maybe a frog splash. And then finally he stomps Fatu into the mat. 1, 2, kick out. Jacob Fatu kicks out of the stomp. And Seth is confused. He's like, what the fuck? What's it going to take to put this man down? Fatu goes on a bit more of a tear until finally Rollins can, he charges at Seth in the corner. Seth ducks out of the way and does that thing where he charges into the post. And then Seth, he turns around, super kick. Groggy's the big man. Super kick 2, Groggy's the big man. Third super kick 2, he's on his knees, sorry. And then third super kick, bang. To the floor he goes. Seth backs into the corner. Gives him another stomp. But then immediately rolls through. Stomp. So 2 back-to-back stomps, 3 stomps in total. And finally Seth falls under the cover. Gets the 1, 2, 3. And for the first time in his WWE career, Jacob Fatu has been pinned by Seth freaking Rollins. 96 for Seth, 81 for Fatu. And what a hard opening match to WrestleMania. Big babyface win, Seth gets the fans happy. Backstage segment. We got R-Truth with his 24/7 title. He goes, I finally made it to SummerSlam. It's going to be great. I need to find out how I'm going to make history tonight because I'm going to make history with my baby. Hey look, there's Bad Bunny. He's like, hey, Bad Bunny. There's KSI, the regulars. So the two that we had wrestling at SummerSlam. They're both here. And then he bumps into Goldust. Goldust is going into the Hall of Fame tonight. I understand it's a year late because he probably should have gone in when we did the Hollywood thing, but it makes sense in headcanon because Cody's back and in the game AEW let Dustin's contract go. So I sort of brought him in. He's been a trainer in NXT for a while. So I thought, yeah, we'll induct Goldust this year. And we get a little golden truth reunion. He's like, Truth. How are you getting on, my friend? And then he's like, I'm trying to make history, Goldie. It's not going well. And it's like, oh, let me help you with that. Goldust rolls up our Truth and wins the 24/7 title. And he's like, that's what's up, Truth. It's like, Goldust stole my baby. Well, the atmosphere just changed completely in the room with the arrival of the House of Black. And there's, of course, their leader, Aleister Black. There's Elias, and of course Brody King, and together they make up the House of Black.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers, accompanied by Elias, at a combined weight of 585 pounds.
Of course, Elias, corrupted by Aleister Black himself, as well as him pulling out his right-hand man Brody King. Because it will be Brody King and Aleister wrestling here tonight for the Tag Team Championships, and they've taken SmackDown by storm in just the few months they've been here, earning this championship opportunity by winning a fatal 4-way match against Dio Madden and Mansoor, against the Viking Raiders, and against Matt Riddle and Drew Gulak. But can they win the championships when it's all on the line? Elias pacing around the ring, Aleister waiting outside, waiting for his perfect moment to enter the ring, because he will be in this match, whether it looks like it or not. But they've got a pair of determined champions they've got to try and unseat. Because smoke season has arrived here at WrestleMania, and the red Solo Cups are flying high. Talk about a juxtaposing entrance from Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins compared to what we just witnessed, bringing the mood back up after the House of Black really brought it down with their moody entrance.
Introducing the champions at a combined weight of 492 pounds. They are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits.
Of course, a lot of people saying the Street Profits right place at the right time when they took out AJ and Omos at No Way Out to win the championships due to the miscommunication between AJ and Kevin Owens, and then defended the belts against AJ Styles and Kevin Owens 5 nights later. So you got to say they have earned these by picking up those 2 victories. But nobody has faced anyone quite like the House of Black, especially not the Street Profits. As they look to bring the party to WrestleMania. Last year they were in a fatal 4-way, couldn't take the championships. This year they're 2-on-2 against Aleister and Brody King. Let's see if they've got what it takes this year to get the job done. Certainly seem confident, certainly aren't letting Aleister Black and the House of Black's mind games get to them, but as Aleister says, the house will grow, and the house will grow with championship gold. And the gold in question is, of course, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships of the Street Profits. And our first championship match of the evening is about to get underway. '82. I'll take it. It's the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits against the House of Black. Aleister Black and Brody King. Of the House of Black, that is. And we go 14:45. We get a nice little match going on here. And the Street Profits have been bested at every turn by the House of Black so far, and they finally get their number. Like, Montez Ford does a big leap to the outside, taking out Elias and the other 2 members as well. And then Elias will get sent to the back at some point, I guess. And then finally, it looks like the Street Profits have got the House of Black beat. Big spinebuster by Angelo Dawkins. Montez Ford goes up top for the frog splash when 3 hooded figures appear at ringside, which distract Montez Ford. And then he gets knocked off the top rope, falls to the floor. Then Angelo Dawkins is left alone to be picked apart. They hit that sick tag team finisher Brody and Alistair do for the 1, 2, 3, and the House of Black win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. In an 82, and Brody gets a 75, 87 for Alistair, 81 for Angelo, and an 82 for Ford. So that's pretty sick. And then when the House of Black are celebrating, Elias is back in the ring. And then the other 3 members, the hooded figures, come in and take their hoods off. They are, of course, the possessed members of Subculture. Because that was a thing that I started planning on SmackDown like 1 week. And then specifically left it, hoping people would be like, oh, I forgot about that. But I had to have a heel stable corrupt the babyface stable as one of my goals, and I guess they could pull off cult members fine. So this is the House of Black in WWE: Alistair Black, Brody King, Elias, Danny Luna, Mark Andrews, and Flash Webster. And that accompanying with them is the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. No specific comments to be made about this segment. Stone Cold's in the back. He's chilling. He's making sure WrestleMania is going off without a hitch. When he sees Matt Riddle, stoned cold, the knee-jerk Nese was talking about, it's like, hey bro, nice going, Steve. And he's like, well, thanks Riddle, good luck in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal tomorrow. He's like, thanks dude. I was watching the opening of the show and they were talking about stoned cold, dude, and like, that sounds pretty cool, so do you want to come back and make that like a thing, bro? And he's like, no, I'm more of a beer guy myself. It's like, well, okay bro, just enjoy the show and have a great WrestleMania. He's like, you too, Matt, you too. It's like, give me a fist bump, bro. And Riddle and Stone Cold give a fist bump backstage. Just in a funny little segment. You got to have segments like this to break shit up at WrestleMania. Even if they lead nowhere, it's just fun to do. But here's the entrances of the Women's Battle Royal. Alexa, the 4 legend women, Lita, Trish, Molly Holly, Michelle McCool, as well as Asuka, Sonya, and Naomi. And just like last year, this is a 40-woman Battle Royal. Naomi, of course, the first ever winner of this. Carmella the second, and then Rhea Ripley won it last year. Who will be the 4th person? Well, not necessarily 4th person, but the 4th winner, because it could be Naomi again. But once those 8 come to the ring, there's still only 35 people in the ring, because we know what this is. This is the special WrestleMania J-Flow performance. Here they come for the Battle Royal to be entrance 36, 7, 8, 9, and 40. And now I've got all our women in the ring. For an 81, sure thing, gang. That's fine. No, not only is that fine, that's good, considering the fucking state of this match. Right? So here's the elimination order I've got. Like last year, this will have proper editing, because I just think it's cool and fun. We have got, in the match, Alexa Bliss, Anna Jay, NXT UK Women's Champion, Aether Valkyrie, Asuka, Cora Jade, Dana Brooke, Molly Holly, Ember Moon, Frankie Monet, Gigi Dolan, Julia, Indy Hartwell, JC Jane, Jordan, Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter, Kelsey Cook, Kylie Ray, Lita, Liv Morgan, Micah Mackey, Mandy Rose, Marika Martina, Mia Yim, Michelle McCool, Mina Mizuki, Naomi, Persia Pirotta, Raquel Gonzalez, Ruby Riott, Scarlett, Shotzi Blackheart, Sonya Deville, Tam, Toni Storm, Trish Stratus, and Xia Li. And as we just saw, the J-Flow performance, they are the last people to enter the match, so the bell rings, and then they're all in the centre of the ring with the attention on them, and which leads to, the 4 legends, Trish, Michelle, Lita, and Molly, dumping out the 4 members of J-Flow that aren't Mackie. So Trish gets rid of Marika, Michelle gets rid of Tam, Lita gets rid of Mina, Molly Holly gets rid of Mizuki. They're the first eliminations. Mackie's still in, though. Next up, we get a little bit of, boss payback, as Indy Hartwell eliminates Dana Brooke. Then Asuka eliminates both of the Toxic Attraction girls that aren't Mandy. So Gigi and JC out. Then Sonya Deville sees this and she's like, well, I can eliminate a tag team too. And then there go Caden and Casey, so The Miz won't be too happy with that one. Ember Moon then eliminates Xia Li, and Shotzi hugs Ember. She's like, holy shit, you did it, girl, one elimination. And Ember's like, yeah, let's work together. And then bang, when Ember turns around, Shotzi dumps out Ember. Like, hey, every woman for herself. Then Raquel Gonzalez sort of remembers that she exists, and she gets the first heel heat of the match by eliminating one of the legends. She eliminates Molly Holly to a chorus of boos. We then get a fun exchange with Martina and Ruby, which leads to Ruby eliminating Martina. Alexa Bliss eliminates Jordan, and then Asuka eliminates Cora Jade. Lita and Trish then get into the face of Asuka, take her down, and eliminate the other Dominion girl. So Lita gets rid of Micah, Trish gets rid of Julia. We then get a bit of Persia Pirotta showcase. She dumps out Mandy Rose, and then she dumps out Frankie Monet, before she's eventually dumped out by Toni Storm. We then get Michelle McCool dumping out Kylie Ray, before Raquel also eliminates Michelle to boos. Boo, Raquel Gonzalez. Mia Yim then eliminates the NXT UK Women's Champion Ava Valkyrie. Lita then eliminates Scarlett, and Asuka gets rid of Anna Jay. Then Sonya Deville eliminates Mia Yim, Naomi eliminates Ruby Riott, and Raquel Gonzalez eliminates Kelsey Cook. Before Trish Stratus and Lita work together, they ground Raquel Gonzalez, before finally working together to dump the big woman out. The biggest threat in this ring, I guess, has been eliminated. And then Mackie springs to life. She remembers she's in this thing. She dumps out Indy Hartwell before she does a song and dance. She's like, yeah, big elimination, WrestleMania, woo. Twist of fate, and clothesline. Lita eliminates her. Then Alexa gets rid of Liv Morgan, and we're down to the final 8, which are the 8 you see on screen: Alexa, Asuka, Lita, Naomi, Shotzi, Sonya, Toni, and Trish. We then get the Alexa Bliss Trish Stratus face-off that they wanted to do at Evolution that one time, but we never got, which ends with Trish dumping out Alexa. And it's also, teased from when the segment on SmackDown, with Trish eliminating Alexa. Then Asuka gets in the face of Trish Stratus. They have a bit of a fight before Asuka eliminates Trish to boos. Then Sonya gets rid of Toni Storm, and before Asuka quickly eliminates Sonya Deville, the former SmackDown Women's Champion, is out. So the final 4 are Asuka, Lita, Naomi, and Shotzi. We then get Naomi and Lita going at it. Naomi goes for a split-legged moonsault, but Lita shoves her off. Naomi falls to the floor. She's out. And then Lita and Shotzi sort of getting like some sort of like, oh, I'm a punk bitch. No, I'm a punk bitch. Generational clash. Lita takes Shotzi down before Asuka quickly dumps Lita out of the ring to a thunderous chorus of boos. And the final 2 are Asuka and Shotzi. And Asuka has been dominant. Shotzi's been sort of hanging in there. They take the fight to each other for like a minute. Asuka knocks her out of a kick, dumps her over, but she skins the cat and gets back into the ring. And she wants more. She wants more of Asuka. Asuka kicks her again, but she keeps coming back. Shotzi fires up again. Hits a big drop kick, goes charging at Asuka. Asuka pulls the rope down. Shotzi skins the cat, and then Asuka clocks her on the side of the head. She lets go. She finally falls to the floor, and Asuka wins the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. Again, this is on 81. Like, why? Why did this bang so much? But yeah, Asuka got the most eliminations as well. Dominant. And then just a segment here called Asuka Admires Her Vagina, where she looks at the trophy, with its odd shape. Julia and Micah come back out and celebrate with their leader, and Asuka wins the Battle Royal. Just a nice win for her, because this is the second year she's been in it. So I was like, well, fuck it, I might as well have her win it, because this is getting silly, Connell, come on. KO Mania 6 is underway. There he is, the prize fighter on the brandest stage of the More You Know. They don't come.
Contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Marieville, Quebec, Canada. Weighing in at 266 pounds, Kevin Owens.
They don't come much bigger than WrestleMania for Kevin Owens being a prize fighter. And he looks to try and prove he was in the right against AJ Styles, trying to take away his WrestleMania moment, powerbombing him on that apron after they failed to capture the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Street Profits. And Bivens Enterprises' implosion due to Kevin Owens basically using Styles to further his own career, like back at the Royal Rumble. These two are 2 of the final 4, and miscommunication led to both of them getting eliminated. And now frictions come to a head here at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. 2 men, only 1 man can come out on top in this grudge match. It's time for WrestleMania to get phenomenal. Dallas, Texas.
And his opponent from Gainesville, Georgia, weighing in at 218 pounds, the phenomenal AJ Styles!
And of course, last year at WrestleMania, AJ actually worked still with Bivens at the time, teaming up with Chad Gable and Baron Corbin to try and make Malcolm Bivens the SmackDown general manager, so his loyalty to Bivens also collapsed at the hands of Kevin Owens. There's a bit of personal rivalry between these two. I've had a lot of encounters in the past, but AJ Styles said none of them were satisfying enough for him, and that his victory here tonight will be the most satisfying of them all. He'll hopefully be able to silence Kevin Owens for good. We'll have to see if AJ's got what it takes. He's normally one to back up his words. Let's see if he can do it tonight against a determined Kevin Owens. 84 for this match. AJ and Kevin, which, you know, isn't quite the banger I was hoping they would have to redeem themselves, but, like, it's still better than, like, their first set. This will probably still be their best match ever. Well, at least in WWE. I don't think they ever wrestled in Ring of Honor or whatever. 18:35, nice match, and AJ gets his revenge on Owens. He hits the phenomenal forearm, gets the 1-2-3. AJ Styles with a nice win here at WrestleMania. He gets an 81 and an 82 for Kevin. So yeah, just again, fun, nice mid-card match between 2 top guys. What more can you ask for, really? I guess a blue, but I'm not going to ask for that. At least not in this match. We then get the story of Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair. From the Royal Rumble, Charlotte made a grand entrance at the Royal Rumble. She was going to win that and go to WrestleMania, until Bianca Belair embarrassed her when she eliminated her in about 30 seconds, which led to Charlotte re-entering the match, booting Bianca and tossing her out, and then entering the Elimination Chamber like Shawn Michaels in 2010 to cost Bianca that match as well. Which then Charlotte and Bianca, that seemed like to be the end of it, but then when Pete Dunne, John Cena and Keith Lee went to SmackDown to feud with the New America, they got a trade, and Bianca sort of, well, they didn't trade shows, but it's just she's been appearing on Raw, and the Raw people have been appearing on SmackDown. And yeah, look to blow off ahead of steam. This bit of feud is going to end right here and right now. The History Maker. 1 year on.
Against the wall. The pressure's building, but no, I will never fall.
The following contest is scheduled for 1 fall. Making her way to the ring from Knoxville, Tennessee, Bianca Belair.
Of course, who could forget the memorable moment from last year's WrestleMania, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. Second ever women's WrestleMania main event. Bianca became the SmackDown Women's Champion on that night. 1 year later, she's still on top of her game, and she's got a score to settle with one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, that being Charlotte Flair. After Bianca eliminated Charlotte Flair from the Royal Rumble in quick order, which of course aggravated the Queen, and she hasn't been able to let the grudge go up until now, when it all comes to a head at the grandest stage of them all. Hopping between shows to try and get hits on each other, all of that. None of that matters anymore. When that bell rings, the best woman will come out on top. And a lot of the times in her career, this woman has proven that she is the best.
And from the Queen City, Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte proved back at the Royal Rumble that you don't mess with her. She re-ended the match after Bianca's quick elimination of her and dumped Bianca out, and then cost Bianca Belair the Elimination Chamber back at No Way Out for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, Bianca's success not on Charlotte's watch. This is a thorn in the side of the EST and the Queen. looks to try and once again cement her dominance on top of this division with another victory on the grandest stage. She's been victorious the last 2 years. Can she make it a hat-trick? In an 87. Jesus, that was good. 15:45 it goes. And the Queen on the grandest stage of them all. She gets the job done most years. She got the job done last year against Liv Morgan. She goes for natural selection. Bianca rolls out of the way. Stuff like that. Figure eight locked in. Bianca gets to the ropes. But in the end, whip with the hair across the chest of Charlotte. And the KOD planting the Queen into the mat. Bianca scores the victory here on the grandest stage of them all. She gets a 77 and an 89 for Charlotte. Yeah. Pretty fucking sick match as well. Banging match, banging show so far. And we're only just getting started. Because from the one match to the next, this is a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Here's the story of the whole thing. Big E winning the Royal Rumble against Cesaro. They had that nice 5-minute final 2 like 2007. But Cesaro just came up short. But Cesaro, of course, felt he was also due a title shot against Finn Balor, and he actually pinned Finn Balor clean on Raw. And then Big E was like, well, I'm going to WrestleMania because I won the Rumble. And they fought off at the Fatal Attraction pay-per-view where Finn Balor accidentally cost Big E that match, leading to a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And then was a whole feud, the New Day. Finn feuded with the New Day, that's why Big E picked him in the first place. And then the 8-man tag with Cesaro and the New Day against Balor Club, which the Cesaro and New Day won. And then last week, this past Monday, 5 days ago, the 3 members of Balor Club versus Big E and Cesaro. And Big E and Cesaro won that match, banning them from ringside because Swerve walked out on Balor Club. And it all comes to a head here tonight.
We all want to go big, then say that.
Here comes the Royal Rumble winner. It's world title time here on night 1.
The following contest is a triple threat match. It is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Introducing the challenger, representing the New Day from Tampa, Florida, weighing in at 285 pounds, Big E.
The 2022 Royal Rumble winner Big E finally gets his moment here on the grandest stage of them all to win his first World Heavyweight Championship. An opportunity that he'd been looking for so many years, but unfortunately for him, he's not going to do it one-on-one because there's another hungry challenger looking for that opportunity, and that is, of course, this man, the Swiss Cyborg.
Introducing the challenger from Lucerne, Switzerland, weighing in at 232 pounds, Cesaro!
Big E and Cesaro had one of the greatest endings to a Royal Rumble match in history earlier this year. And of course, Cesaro running Big E so close, he had that opportunity to go one-on-one with the World Heavyweight Champion on Raw. And he pinned Finn Balor shoulders to the mat clean. 1, 2, 3, earning him a match with Big E at Fatal Attraction. And, of course, him victorious in that match due to some miscommunications between Big E and the World Champion. Meaning that this match is now a triple threat match, with a third hungry challenger who has a claim to the championship, held by this man.
Introducing the champion from Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland, weighing in at 190 pounds. He is the World Heavyweight Champion, Finn Balor.
An unfamiliar sight for the last few months is Finn Balor coming out alone. Of course, he's normally flanked by the Balor Club members Isaiah Swerve Scott, Santos Escobar and Ridge Holland, none of whom are here tonight because just 5 nights ago on Raw, Big E and Cesaro beat them in a 3-on-2 handicap match due to Swerve walking out on the group saying he was done with Balor's actions. Balor then took on Swerve, beat him on Raw, but due to Swerve leaving the group, allowing Big E to pin Escobar, and they're of course banned from the triple threat match, so Balor's got to go it alone. Want to see what he's really all about. But of course he is the extraordinary man who can do extraordinary things. So he's no slouch in that ring all by himself. Dallas rising their hands into the air for the Prince. Captured that title from Oney Lorcan back at Full Brawl in October, has held it ever since. Victories over Edge, Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre, all three of them in a fatal 4-way back at the Royal Rumble. Went toe-to-toe with the Tribal Chief at Survivor Series. Also faced Xavier Woods, the Intercontinental Champion, who we'll see in action tomorrow night, as well as Kofi Kingston, his tag team partner. About looking at Cesaro and Big E's name to that long list here tonight. And there is the World Heavyweight Championship. Be contested on the line here on WrestleMania night 1. 3 challengers, or 2 challengers, 1 champion. 3 top stars here on Raw. But only 1 man will leave with the gold. In a 90. I could trust this match to go fairly long, because it's got Cesaro and Finn in it, who have got good psychology. So it goes 23 minutes. And in my head, I'm imagining this match because, like, I could imagine it would go either way. I imagine some people would think Big E's winning, some people would think Cesaro's winning. So I'm going to play with that tension. There's going to be about loads of near falls. I imagine Big E giving Finn a big ending off the top rope that people think is the finish, but Cesaro makes a last minute break up, shit like that. Finn Balor knocking a 1916. Obviously Finn gets his hope spots too, but I assume most people watching would expect that he was going to drop the belt. And he drops Cesaro with a 1916. He goes up top for a coup de grace. He plants the coup de grace onto Cesaro's chest. But then immediately as he rolls through to get up and go for the pin, he rolls up and Big E scoops him up. Drops him with a big emphatic big ending to score the 1-2-3. And we have a new World Heavyweight Champion. His name is Big E. He scores an 85. Cesaro gets an 81. He actually did the worst. I actually added him to this match thinking he'd make it better. Okay. I mean, maybe he did, but oh well. Finn gets a 90. Finn, what a run. What a man. But Big E. It's Big E's time. The era of E. And of course, Kofi and Woods run out from the back. Because they're not wrestling tonight, they're on the show tomorrow. In the ladder match. So they run out and hug Big E. 3 years ago, Kofi Mania happened. He won. His dream came true. He became the WWE Champion. Xavier Woods, currently Intercontinental Champion. And Big E, World Heavyweight Champion. New Day have come so far from, you know, their very first vignettes. And I thought it was career suicide, huh? It's time for the Hall of Fame segment. We've got Stephanie McMahon in the ring because, why not? She does the announcing of the thing. And we go through the class of 2022. Which is, of course, as we said, Gold Dust. Michelle McCool. Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers. Vader, Finley, Giant Baba, Warrior Award winner Shad Gaspard, and of course the headline act of the Hall of Fame, the late great Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I was going to put him in here all by himself and do that, but I thought, nah, I'm not feeling it. But he is obviously the headline act. God damn it, pal. Vince is the headline act of the Hall of Fame. He's finally in. posthumously, and it would have been a big emotional moment on oh no, they're doing After SmackDown in real life, aren't they? So yeah, Friday, when the speeches happened, and it's definitely K1 Shane and Triple H and The Undertaker and all these people talking about their favourite Vince McMahon memories. Then everyone quickly slowly departs the stage, except for Goldust. He's the last person to leave. He's got his 24/7 title that he won early on tonight, and he's just taking in the crowd. And he's saying thank you, thank you. When R-Truth rolls him up, 1, 2, 3, he takes the 24/7 title back. It's like, I got my baby back, I got my baby back. Is that historic enough? No, is the answer. And R-Truth, he has no idea. He's just coming, he's just pinned Goldust while he's on the red carpet for the Hall of Fame. Obviously, I'll wait till the segment's over because I don't want to make the whole thing comedy. But, yeah, funny. Thunderous ovation for the turncoat himself. Oh, Adam Cole, baby!
Contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Panama City, Florida, weighing in at 231 pounds, Adam Cole!
It's still such a surreal sight to see this man, Adam Cole, come out not direct in Undisputed Era colours, not the Undisputed Era theme song, all by himself. But that's all of his own fruition. This is what he wanted. He betrayed Kyle O'Reilly, and to a lesser extent Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong, by breaking up the Undisputed Era back at Fatal Attraction due to his jealousy of Kyle O'Reilly's single success, telling him that LA Knight got into his head that he doesn't need friends, doesn't need backup, because he's Adam goddamn Cole, baby. He made the things that made Kyle O'Reilly who Kyle O'Reilly is, but Kyle O'Reilly of course begs to differ, and he's got a chance to silence his former best friend here tonight. These two go back even further than the Undisputed Era. A big score to settle here at WrestleMania.
And his opponent from Vancouver, British Columbia, weighing in at 200 pounds, Kyle O'Reilly!
Of course, Kyle O'Reilly reminding Adam Cole, you didn't make me, the Undisputed Era didn't make me. I was the goddamn violent artist before I even got to NXT. And you've just brought him back to life here, and he's coming back to life on the grandest stage of them all. And Adam Cole, I don't know what's going on there. Kyle O'Reilly, not letting that mind games distract him, he's in the zone here tonight. Looking to prove everything that Cole said about him wrong, everything that he said about himself right. But this is a fighter, this is a singles caliber superstar, and Kyle O'Reilly's not, he's more than just the Undisputed Era, just like Adam Cole says he is. And there we see O'Reilly, the violent artist, ready to go to war with his former brother here tonight. Bleh. 84 apparently, because apparently there's no psychology in this match, because of course not. But Adam Cole, baby, 5 weeks ago to the day, destroyed the Undisputed Era back at Fatal Attraction because he was jealous of Kyle O'Reilly's success. LA Knight called him out on it, he called out Kyle O'Reilly for being complacent as well, and that sort of, I guess, ticked Cole over. He kicked Kyle O'Reilly in the head. Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish have sort of sat out of this whole thing. They're like, we don't want to pick sides, we love you both, we're just going to go do a tag team thing over here. And these two have been going to war. Kyle was gone for a couple of weeks, and he came back and attacked Cole while he was telling a story. And then we did the Prime Target segment where we aired the attack in Kyle O'Reilly's gym. And now the match takes place. Who will be the undisputed megastar victor here? Will it be the former leader Adam Cole, baby, or Kyle O'Reilly, the violent artist? The match goes 17 minutes, 17 seconds. And in the end, Kyle O'Reilly makes Adam Cole submit to the ankle lock. He gets a 92, 94 for Cole, but an 84 for the match, because Lack of psychology, apparently. Excellent work, TEW 2020. But now it's time to shift gears from, you know, your work rate match to meet Brock Lesnar and his protege, Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson, who made his official Royal Rumble, no, his official WWE debut in the Royal Rumble, and he eliminated Bobby Lashley, which obviously upset Lashley. Lashley came in after the match, beat him up, tossed him out, much like Charlotte and Bianca earlier on, and then he had a match with Walter the night after in the main event, which Gable watched at ringside, which ended in either a DQ or a count out. And then Lashley pulled Gable over the barricade. Him and Walter cornered him in the ring. They were going to beat him up when Brock Lesnar returned. We hadn't seen him since last April, I think. And then he saved his protege, Gable Steveson. And then Fatal Attraction, Steveson had his first singles match against Lashley, which he lost. And then Lesnar beat Walter, which has led to back and forth with MVP and Lashley and the rest of the Blitzkrieg guys, like the last couple of weeks, trying to work out the best way to go about being a team, because they know they're dominant. They've got to try and work out, because the Imperium have that, or Blitzkrieg even have that whole ring of sacred thing, and her business is all about inflicting pain. And those two things don't really mesh well together, but they're finally on the same page ahead of the biggest show of the year against Brock Lesnar and his boy. The storm is brewing, because here comes the Almighty.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, representing the Hurt Business from Colorado Springs, Colorado, weighing in at 273 pounds, the Almighty Bobby Lashley.
Because Bobby Lashley's desire to take on Brock Lesnar. He finally got his wish nearly 2 years ago back at Great Balls of Fire. They went to war. Lesnar came out victorious that night. But Lashley, he made it his mission to get back in the ring with Brock Lesnar, which came up short of the Royal Rumble when he was eliminated by the debuting Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson, the protege of Brock Lesnar. And Lashley, much like Charlotte earlier on, didn't let that one lie. He got back in the ring, he dumped the rookie out, and took on Walter the next night, and him and Walter nearly assaulted Steveson on Raw when Brock Lesnar made his big return after a 10-month absence to fight off Lashley and this man, the Ring General, leading to this here tonight. And there he is, look at that face. He means business as always. Not intimidated at all by the grand stage of WrestleMania.
And his partner, representing Imperium from Vienna, Austria, weighing in at 297 pounds, Walter!
Of course, this man Walter and his cohorts Ilya Dragunov and Joseph Connors of Blitzkrieg, butting heads with Lashley in the Hurt Business. They do things together, things a different way. The mat is sacred to this man, the Ring General. He's tried it Bobby Lashley's way. Bobby Lashley's tried things his way. They've managed to get themselves on the same page because they may be two of the greatest singles stars here on Raw, but as a tag team, who knows how well they were going to mesh, but they've put their practice in. They even assaulted Brock Lesnar and Gable Steveson many times. But they appear to be on the same page, and we appear to have ironed out the creases. So we're looking at a dangerous duo, not just two dangerous singles competitors, but a dangerous alliance. And it will take some coming out on top for Brock Lesnar and the Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson here tonight if they want to come out on top against this man and the almighty Bobby Lashley. But there's one thing you can say about Brock Lesnar, and especially this man, is that they've got guts and they're going to fight to the death.
And their opponents first, from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 266 pounds, Gable Gabriel Stevens.
The big stage of WrestleMania beckons for the hottest prodigy in WWE. Gable Steveson made his debut back at the Royal Rumble, had his singles debut against Bobby Lashley back at Fatal Attraction and came up short in that one, which is why Brock Lesnar told him he still needs more work. Still after this tag team encounter here tonight to settle this score. Gable did score a victory over Karrion Kross on Raw and teamed with Ricochet in a victorious effort over Joseph Connors and Ilya Dragunov of Blitzkrieg. But this is by far the biggest match of his career on the biggest stage of them all, teaming with his protege, one of the biggest stars in the history of WWE. This man. The Beast is here.
And his partner from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing in at 295 pounds, Brock Lesnar.
It's always a big fight feel when you see this man make his entrance. It's an even bigger fight feel when you see this man, Brock Lesnar, make his entrance at WrestleMania. He's looking to make events from last year. He was upset by Keith Lee at WrestleMania last year in Hollywood. Keith Lee used that momentum from beating Lesnar here to win the World Heavyweight Championship a month later. So for Lashley and Volta stepping in the ring with this man at WrestleMania is quite the feat. But this is an angry Brock Lesnar. And he's got pain on his mind and vengeance on his mind, as him and his protege Gable Steveson need to try and work together to get the job done against two of the baddest men on Monday Night Raw. Because we've not actually seen Brock Lesnar in a tag team match very often, so that dynamic will also be a factor in tonight's result. In a 90 rated match. I knew this would be good because it didn't go long, it only went 12 minutes 45. But I set this as a wild brawl because I think Gable had like 50 odd brawling, and obviously the other three meaty boys had like fucking high 80s. So I just went, yeah, just go out there and have a fight, lads, and they did just that. Apparently there was a lack of selling, which is interesting. But in the end, I guess Lashley and Walter could not coexist well enough, because Lesnar plants Bobby with an F5, Gable hits whatever his finisher would be, and then pin 1, 2, 3, Brock Lesnar and Gable Steveson win the tag team match at WrestleMania over Bobby Lashley and Walter. 55 for Gable, 92 for Lesnar, 95 for Walter, and 86 for Bobby. Big match, big fight here at WrestleMania. Fucking epic pyro shitting eagle, lion, tiger, robo fucker entrances. This segment, genuinely, I put this to go into 10 minutes. And even then I might have undersold how long it would be. It's Cody versus Triple H. Like, these entrances would take up like half an hour each. Big pyro. It's incredible scenes. And Cody Rhodes is in WWE. Well, unless he loses this match, of course. Because he's not officially under contract, he's just been appearing. But he will earn that contract if he can defeat Triple H, and he will also banish Triple H to doing the behind-the-scenes stuff. But also Triple H himself has said that this is probably his last match, win, lose, or draw. But he wants his last victory in the company, his last ever wrestling victory, being to deny Cody this return that he so desperately wants. And obviously the story goes back, writes itself. It's time to play the game.
Time to play the game.
There he is, the King of Kings, the owner and CEO of WWE. A man who looks to put an end to the dream return to WWE of the American Nightmare.
It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control. And if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can...
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Greenwich, 255 pounds, the King,
Of course, the history between these two men needs no explanation. The story writes itself so naturally when Cody Rhodes made his historic TEW return last month. This was the man that he targeted. This man. These two have been butting heads for the last 3 years. And they're finally in the same arena, finally in the same ring. But with Cody Rhodes not under contract at WWE, he's looking to earn that by defeating the man in charge. And Triple H, of course, didn't intend to wrestle here tonight. Has said that this could be game over for him in the ring, but he wants his lasting legacy to be denying the man he's been at war with for the past 3 years the opportunity to make his return to WWE. And of course, anything goes, no holds barred here in this match.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
And for the first time in 6 years,
and his opponent from Marietta, Georgia, weighing in at 237 pounds, Cody Rhodes.
the last time this man, Cody Rhodes, made his entrance at WrestleMania was in this very arena 6 years ago. He was stardust on that night, which led to him leaving the company a month later, rebuilt his legacy across the world, and now he's back with a point to prove, and then there to prove against Triple H. And he's got to defeat the game here tonight if he wants to get a contract with the company and finish off the story that he feels is yet to be written. The match gets a 78 because Triple H, I guess, isn't that great anymore because he's old and out of stamina. But I couldn't make I knew this match should have gone about 14 minutes, but I wanted to be realistic, and if you realistically put these two in a match together, it would probably go about 40 minutes. So I think cutting it down to 22 is still, cutting it short. But in the end, of course, Cody plants Triple H with the crossroads, rolls through, hits the second crossroads, and scores the victory to earn himself a contract. Of course, he's bloody mess, sledgehammers all over the ring, thrones been destroyed all over the gaff, the whole nine, the full Monty here. Tables, sledgehammers, thrones, oh my, and Cody's won it. Oh, I also know why this got a 78, because Triple H is the owner of the company and he bitched about losing, despite having less popularity than Cody. So I had to protect him and keep him strong. After the match, beaten and bloody Cody, he sees Triple H getting to his feet and he offers a handshake out. Triple H looks at it in disgust, but ultimately has to accept it, because Cody earned his respect here tonight. And I probably wasn't going to use... I didn't intend to originally use Triple H on this WrestleMania until Cody happened. And I was like, well, that has to be the match. So I'm pulling the curtain back a bit here, since it's the last we'll see of Cody this season. I wasn't going to book Triple H in this match, or on this show at all, but then Cody happened in real life. I was like, well, I want to do a Cody match, and Triple H is the perfect one. So that's why he so suddenly became such a dickhead. And then, so him retiring in real life now obviously means I'm not going to use him in the ring anymore, which is fine, because I wasn't supposed to use him on this show anyway. So, yeah, I guess this was game over for the game mug. Doesn't quite get the same poetic ending that he got in real life, because it's against Cody, which I guess is a better final match for him than against Mustafa Ali, which it would have been, because that's who he fought last year. So Happy Corbin's angry. That's a oxymoron. But he is. He's upset that he didn't get to be the host of WrestleMania, and how Steve Austin had the nerve to stun knee-jerk knees after that hilarious joke he told. And he sees R-Truth sort of just chilling. And he's like, watch this, niece. I'm gonna leave WrestleMania as champion. He ambushes R-Truth and lays him out at the end of days and takes the 24/7 title. And he's like, yes, I did it. What a moment for me. Happy Corbin. I'll see you tomorrow night. Or I'll defend this championship everywhere I go. So that son of a bitch, Happy Corbin, has crushed R-Truth's dream of being a history maker at WrestleMania.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. It is for the WWE United States Championship.
United States Championship, penultimate match of the evening. And it wouldn't be WrestleMania without this man. The Viper. This man, Randy Orton, of course, last year was in the biggest WrestleMania match in history. He fought John Cena in the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania last year, defended the WWE Championship on that night. But he's got a different vendetta here tonight. He's looking to teach a lesson in his own words to somebody that he sees a lot of himself in. If you peep Randy Orton tonight, he's looking like a whole lot like Randy Orton of old. He's got the blue tights. A callback, of course, to his debut year of 2002, when he was, for all intents and purposes, the 2002 version of our United States champion, Bron Breakker. He laid him out of an RKO back at No Way Out, made his intentions clear, said this wasn't about the championship, but I will take it, because that will help teach this lesson that I'm trying to teach to you. That's to not become like me. Because only the strong survive in a career like Randy Orton, all the setbacks he's had. And he just wants to make sure that this kid, Bron Breakker, has what it takes to be the very best here in WWE. And he feels like if you put Bron Breakker in the same situations as Randy Orton did, he'd sink. But Randy Orton swam. And now, facing Orton at WrestleMania in and of itself has become a legacy. And here comes the United States Champion. Making his WrestleMania debut, the first of, I'm sure, many WrestleMania appearances for that man. Won the United States Championship in his first official match on SmackDown, defeating Bobby Roode with the help of Dolph Ziggler that night back in January, because of course he was drafted to SmackDown as part of Survivor Series supplemental draft, actually picked due to Randy Orton's victory in that match for Team SmackDown. And of course, wrestled Randy Orton as a member of the NXT roster back in November in the build to Survivor Series. So these two have already developed quite the quick history with each other. But now they're going one-on-one at WrestleMania with the United States Championship on the line. And let's see if the man dubbed the future of WWE has what it takes to survive on the grandest stage of them all, or will Randy Orton eat him up like he claims he will, take that championship, and smack Bron Breakker down to reality. Because taking a championship, especially the United States Championship, into your first WrestleMania, that is an impressive feat of itself, and it's the start of a long, long legacy for a second-generation Steiner.
Introducing the challenger from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in at 250 pounds, the Viper, Randy Orton. And introducing the champion from Georgia, weighing in at 266 pounds, he is the WWE United States Champion,
Bron Breakker holding that United States Championship with pride as he hands it over to the referee. But will this be the last time he holds that championship? Because it could be going home with Randy. Let's not underestimate Randy Orton, of course. One of the greatest superstars to ever do this. You can never, ever write him off. And there is the championship in question. The penultimate match here at Night 1 of WrestleMania. Yeah, 79 is fine here. This is your standard cool-down match. The story of Bron Breakker, basically Randy Orton seeing Bron Breakker and seeing himself like the young second generation kid in over his head, handed it all too soon. He says in his own words, he's trying to hand a warning out to Braun, as like to not become what Randy Orton became, and by beating him at WrestleMania, that'll be that reality check that Braun Breaker needs to not become Randy Orton. Fun little tidbit, I think I saw it in, if I put the entrances up, Randy would be wearing like blue and yellow tight trunks, like similar to the ones he wore when he first debuted. Still in the style of modern Randy, just the colour scheme of that, like as a subtle callback, because that's sort of like what the premise of the feud is all about. But in the end, whether or not he'll become the new Randy Orton, we'll have to wait and see, because his reign does continue. Braun Breaker defeats Randy Orton in 12:27 with the big deadlift power slam, gorilla press power slam thing, to make defense number 2 of the US title. He gets a 57.89 for Randy. Didn't expect much here, that's why it's in this spot, because like Randy had to be kept strong, and like it's just a nice little mid-card WrestleMania match to cool you down for the main event, which I hope does well. But yeah, Braun Breaker defeats Randy Orton. What a win, and his WrestleMania debut for the United States Champion. Stone Cold's out. He's like, what? Ladies and gentlemen, what a first of 2 stupendous nights here at AT&T Stadium. What? And what a show it's been here for all of you who have come out. All 96,733 people here. What? I'll see you tomorrow night where more history will be made. But first, enjoy the main event. Shit like that. Speaking of, Big Brain Bex has been the champion since SummerSlam. She won it in a triple threat match, pinning Raw Women's Champion Io Shirai in a match that also involved one Rhea Ripley. Since then, Becky and Rhea haven't locked up. Becky defeated Io at Unforgiven thanks to the help of Nikki Cross and Kaylee Ray to form what she's now called the Big Time as her little group, which she came back as a babyface. She won it at SummerSlam as a face and then turned heel at Unforgiven. And then she's been on a big brain run where she's been stopping all of her challenges. She beat Toni Storm, she beat Raquel, she beat Kairi, she beat Sasha and Emma at Survivor Series in a triple threat. She beat Asuka, she beat Charlotte she did beat Charlotte on Raw as well. She beat Sonya, she beat Frankie Monet, Mackie and Naomi inside the chamber as well. Until finally Rhea Ripley, the Royal Rumble winner, came out after that chamber at Fatal Attraction and was like, well, I want my one-on-one shot at you. You've been ducking me. And ever since then, Becky's been using her big brain to sort of win matches, cheating behind the referee's back, getting disqualified and saying, oh, I've got champion's advantage, shit like that. And it all comes to a head in the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Raw Women's Championship.
It's main event time here in Dallas. And here comes the winner of the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble. Of course, that woman Rhea Ripley made her WrestleMania debut 2 years ago in an empty performance center, taking on Charlotte Flair for her NXT Championship. She came up short that night but made a vow that would not be the end. Last year she made her official debut on the main roster, winning the Women's Battle Royal. She was then a first round draft pick by the Raw brand the next night in the WWE draft. She main evented SummerSlam after just 4 months on the main roster against then Raw Women's Champion Io Shirai and her opponent tonight Becky Lynch in the match that Becky Lynch captured the championship in. Entered number 2 in the Royal Rumble, won the whole damn thing, and is now main eventing WrestleMania after just a year. on Raw. That is the return in investment that the Raw brand were hoping for when they drafted Rhea Ripley first round in the draft. And what a way to cap off that incredible debut year than by capturing the Raw Women's Championship from the current champion in the main event of WrestleMania. But of course, it's not a tough champion to beat. It's one of the only other two women to main event WrestleMania and win Big Time Bex. Kaylee Ray, of course, in tow, the last remaining member of the Big Time. Becky used Nikki Cross and Kaylee Ray to keep a hold of that belt for so long. She came up with many devious plans to capture it ever since she won it at SummerSlam, including debuting Kaylee Ray and Nikki Cross's Earl group, the Big Time, back at Unforgiven, to screw Io Shirai. Kept defeating the likes of Kairi Sane, AJ Lee, Sasha Banks and Emma at Survivor Series, Raquel Gonzalez, Toni Storm, Asuka, Maki, Sonya Deville, and of course Charlotte Flair as well. She's even defeated Rhea Ripley herself, albeit not pinning her back at SummerSlam, pinning Io Shirai that night. And many have said that Becky has been ducking Rhea Ripley for these last 8 months. But there's no more running, no more hiding. The main event of WrestleMania is set for that here Raw Women's Championship.
Introducing the challenger from Adelaide, Australia, Rhea Ripley. And introducing the champion from Dublin, Ireland, the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch.
Big Time Beck's holding up the belt. She's always got a plan in her mind. You've got to wonder what's going through her mind here, though. The plan in the main event of the biggest show of the year. How does Becky look to keep a hold of that championship ahead of, a very determined young challenger? That being Rhea Ripley. And there is the championship. The main event of WrestleMania is a go for the Raw Women's title. 88, yeah, that's fine. I'll take that because it couldn't go too long because of the psychology again. Yeah. So it was just, 15-minute steal the show. So 88 is pretty good. I'll take it. Is that the match of the night? No, someone got a 90. The Brock Lesnar match got a 90. Yeah. And Seth and Jacob Fatu got a 90 as well. But yeah. 15 minutes. Kaylee Ray's at ringside to try and aid with Becky's big brain. And Rhea hits the Riptide. Becky kicks out. Becky locks in the disarmer. Rhea gets to the ropes. She goes for a second one. Rhea breaks out. She's like, well, this ain't gonna fucking work. She hits the manhandle slam. Rhea kicks out. And Becky's like, well, fuck it, I know what will work. She gets Rhea Ripley up the top rope and hits the manhandle slam from the top rope to Rhea Ripley down to the floor. 1, 2, kick out. And Becky's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And she sort of stops. She looks around. And she's like, big brain. She rolls to the outside of the ring. And she grabs the Raw Women's Championship from the ringside table. She's got it in her hand. She slides in the ring. The referee tries to stop her. She's like, no, don't do this, Becky. You're going to get disqualified. And she's like, well, champion's advantage. I'll keep the belt. She shoves the referee to the side. She swings the belt at Rhea. Rhea catches the belt. Swats it down. Swats Becky's arms down. Spins her around. Riptide plants Becky onto the mat. 1, 2, 3. Becky's big brain couldn't get the job done. On the biggest stage. Rhea Ripley, in 15 minutes and 6 seconds, is the new Raw Women's Champion. 96 for Becky, 86 for Rhea. Rhea has a strong connection with the young female demographic who really liked her winning. The match got the crowd buzzing. And WrestleMania Night 1 ends. #and new. 2022 Women's Royal Rumble winner, holding her championship up high. Pyro going off. As the announcers hype up the second night of the show, which will be main evented by Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, defending his WWE Championship against The Rock. 95 rated show. Gah. It's because I had the special set, but the main event, I guarantee tomorrow night's main. I feel like Roman on the Rock is going to get like an 82. So, oh well. It doesn't matter. Because what matters more than the 95, obviously, is what you thought of the show. So do not forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Now, the first night is in the books. And... oh, and the Triple Threat also got a 90. I was just checking. I thought there was another match that got a 90. Yeah. So, I'll see you next time for episode number 236. WrestleMania Night 2. The season finale. See you then.